Do you pay to see those chaps? You know, in the Donmar warehouse, or, you know, even better, you know, the Aubrey or wherever? No, I wouldn't. You know, they're filling the cinema. Nobody's coming to the theatre. You know, I'm not an idiot. Waited for, I don't know, probably a second to make sure, you know, that the camera was back on him or whatever, and then would give you a reading of, you and he were buddies, weren't you? Looking at him. Which is always a very, very selfish way to act, but it's what I see every day now. You and he were buddies, weren't you? Sort of thing. As opposed to possibly looking at the door, which I believe the scene was, looking back at him. Back at the door. You and he were buddies, weren't you? Need I say more? Need I say more? You know, when blinking the eye. So I said, Dean, stop. Think about next month's rent. Think about your tax bill, you know, trying to bring the guy down. Straight away, he got it. It comes from the shoes, comes from the feet, yeah, it comes from rhythm.
If I were to...
Now, I can actually play the drums, which makes this much easier to describe to you. So it's as if I'm either sat at a drum kit, and I'm going... and you're keeping up a beat, usually 4/4. 4/4 is much easier, because other people know what 4/4 is. Once you start to, you know, change and waltz and things, people don't know where the fuck they are. So if you keep it, say, 4/4, and you say the lines, something like... Scotch mist? What Scotch mist? Dean's would be, just imagine somebody mentally retarded sat with a drum kit. Imagine the noise that they would make. That's what you got with Dean, I think. I had to turn the bloody thing. I couldn't hear a word he was saying. And it was all that type of thing. And yeah, if you're small, you're small. Do you think anyone gives a shit if you're 5 foot or 5'1"? You know what I mean? With a lift on your shoe. You're still a short man. Unbelievable what people do. And I believe he's still doing that.
Well, he's gone on record as saying that you're a good foot shorter than him.
Really? How tall does he think he is, then? Answer that.
I'm nearly 6 foot. And Dean is, I think, 6'2", something like that.
He says he's 6 foot. Garth Marenghi, 6 foot tall. He's barely 5 foot and wears lifts. End of story.
Paying for it myself, and we didn't know you had to be asked. So we made it, gave it to the channel, and they said, I'm sorry, we didn't ask you to make this. I said, what do you mean? You didn't ask us to make this. How, you know, do you ask everyone before they make a show? And they said, yes, we do. And I went, this is news to me, sweetheart. I made this show with my sweat and blood. I spent the last 4 weeks of my life making this show.
State of the NHS.
If you came into my car, for instance, okay, demanded that I got out of my car so you could have my car. Now, this kind of thing, you know, does go on. It goes on in this country now. I should be able to kill you for that. Okay, shoot you dead in my own car for telling me to get out of my car so you can take it.
And at times...
I'm sorry you think that.
Well...
A man who behaves like a beast shall never suffer the pain of being a man. Yet a man without love is like an orchard without cherry blossom. That's the way I feel about it now. I've mellowed, I think. Can I speak frankly?
Of course.
If you act like a cheap arsehole, expect the shittiest portion.
Let me...
You again, you bastard. Suck on that. Filing cabinet. What do you reckon, android?
We might need to kill him.
Scotch missed, some thought was fairly racist. I didn't, to be honest. Thing is, I'd play anything. A Nazi. I think they were warped.
That's what you get when you buy cheap batteries.
Well, tell me about it. You try and make a saving, yet economically it's more sensible to buy from a reputable high street retailer. I'm afraid they'll always be dear, Liz, but you're paying for reliability. I personally use rechargeable batteries. Couldn't use my charger last night, though, because I was up playing the keyboard till 2.
Well, we probably...
Very chic. You like Scotch food, Liz? I know a little place we can go. Can happen. Like that. You can fall in love in an instant. I got the girl. You're not getting my Rob without a fight.
I hope he heeds my words about dealing with this in an orthodox manner.
He will. He's the best damn doctor on the wing, or any other wing for that matter.
He's a wild card.
But I'm glad he's in our deck.
Let's hope he plays a fair hand.
He'll come up trumps.
If there's not a joker in the pack, and sometimes there is.
So what happened between you and this Renwick customer? What? Am I holding a crock of shit? Tell me something. Is this hospital called St. Crock of Shit? That thing's a potential killer. Look at these lab results. I'll put some sounds on. There's a bad atmosphere in here. Why won't she be mine? I wish I was more attractive like Douglas. Still, one can only dream.
I'm a one-track lover, down a two-way lane, driving fast down the highway, must have been insane, 'cause the temperature's too high, traveling way too fast, and I knew our loving was too hot to last.
She's smooth, like ice, cold to the touch, and it isn't very nice when you're left alone. Your lady treats you bad, leaves you hanging on the phone. Take off, shove your loving in the wheel, put the pedal to the floor, 'cause you're heading for the hills. Got to get away, can't take it no more. Man, you don't need this, leave her at the door. The door. Sanch, open the door. Open the door, Sanch.
Sorry, Thornton. Bad dream.
Count yourself lucky.
It can happen. Like that. You can fall in love in an instant.